Perry Icefire, what's up?
Hi.
Hi. Are you having a good one? Hello. I hope you're enjoying being in the queue because you are not anymore. Your wait is finally over. Welcome, welcome. Here, one second. Alrighty, so welcome. What do you want to talk about? Do you want to introduce yourself and say hello to everyone first, or do you just want to hop right
Uh,
into it?
Hi everyone. I'm Perry, and I did not expect to be pulled in so quickly.
Yeah, I usually go from the bottom up, like whichever one's closer to my chat. So, sorry about that. Do you want a minute to
Oh,
prepare? Do you want me to send you back and call in someone else?
yeah, because I did not expect that at all.
Okay, that's all good. That's all good.
Thanks, though.
No problemo. All right, next person should be Wingo. All right, Wingo, I see you're deaf and muted, so if you're watching stream, make sure to undeafen and mute because it's about to be your time. It's about to be your time, Wingo. Your time is now. Wingo, hello, hello. Your time is now, my friend.
Uh, if you read my message earlier. Said I was coming here to talk about something that happened in the Tampa area that is, I think pretty important. And since you grew up near Tampa, you might have some opinion on this. This
Absolutely.
very close to me. This was like feasibly within walking distance. Uh, it was awful. Um, There, I posted it in stream suggestions for anyone else here. There's like a news article on it. Uh, on the street near where near, on this street, three live puppies were thrown out of a moving vehicle, and there is a $7,500 reward for whoever did this to be brought to justice.
Holy shit. I mean, goddamn, I do not like people who throw puppies out of fucking windows. That makes me really goddamn upset. So, like,
You're a normal
are there
person.
any are there any leads? Like, if there's a video of it, presumably there's a
We
car
don't
caught on
have
video.
we don't have any leads, uh, but the Humane Society of Tampa Bay has found the dogs. Unfortunately, one of them did not make it. Was
Oh,
Yes, this dog, who has been posthumously named Paolo, has unfortunately not survived. But his two brothers, or his brother and sister, named Luke and Leia, are in the care of the Humane Society. So if there's someone you should donate to, dear audience, it would be the Humane Society of Tampa Bay. I also linked them in the stream suggestion. Um, there's a funny
okay.
little note here. Uh, did you know Dave Batista lives here?
I did not know, but I do know
Dave
that he
Batista.
was. Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know that. That's
He
neat. I mean, a lot of people live in Tampa. To be fair, there's a lot of celebrities.
Yeah.
My mom said literally seen Joe Rogan multiple times in Tampa before, like many years ago. He's been famous for a long time, and he was always looking like very like trashy. And my mom said, and I quote, he always hung out with the trashiest women and had the trashiest friends whenever I'd see him, like, at any place, like a restaurant or a bar in Tampa. And I'd always recognize him and be like, holy shit, that's Joe Rogan. Oh my god, he looks like a bum.
Yeah.
It's pretty hilarious.
I mean, there's a photo of me being held as a baby by Hulk Hogan.
That's funny. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's surprising how many big celebrities are from or live in Tampa. Um, but yeah, as for finding this guy, oh gosh, I'm really sorry to hear that one of the puppies didn't make it because I mean, I honestly have myself, I find myself more often than not having more sympathy for dogs than people when I hear about
That
stories
is
like
a
this.
common sentiment.
Yeah, it's really hard not to feel bad whenever, like, a creature that is so full of love and that innocent is treated that way. It makes you disgusted to share this earth with the kind of people who would do that. So what I'm
I've been
curious
seeing a
about,
lot of people that just like are mistreating dogs. I'm of the opinion that if you can't, if you are unable to get a dog at the moment, don't get a dog. And if you are in a position where you can no longer take care of a dog, take it to the Humane Society or a similar shelter near you.
Yeah,
Because
I mean,
leaving them out on the side of the road, that is just abject cruelty.
it's such a Florida thing too. I hate to. I don't want to shit talk, but fuck, it's such a Florida thing to do that.
You're
When
not
like there's
wrong.
so many other ways to like handle that. It's like such a dipshit like Florida man thing to do to just like. I'm gonna.
This state-
I got these. Yeah, just throw puppies out a fucking window. Only in Florida, dude. Like that is. I don't know how else to express it to my chat other than that is one of the most Florida things ever. And like I don't know what other commentary to have on it other than God, I fucking hate like being from Florida and being in Florida whenever I was. Gosh, I know that I'm almost certain that my childhood dogs came from the Humane Society. At least one of them, I believe, did. So yeah,
They do
I
good
know
work
that.
around here.
Yeah, it wasn't Tampa's, but it was definitely a Humane Society shelter. I believe it would have been in like in Lakeland maybe or around Brooksville maybe. I can't remember. Somewhere in like rural central Florida along the west coast, somewhere north of Tampa, one of those areas. My Florida geography is a little off. I haven't been there in a while, but yeah, all the dogs I've ever had are rescues, so that really hits close to home. My first ever childhood dog got her from the shelter, and I mean because of the condition that she had been in prior, she was a stray for quite some time. Despite having the temperament and appearance, especially after being cleaned up, of a show dog, a show Pomeranian. So yeah, I mean I just have a lot of sympathy there. I'm really happy to hear that you have dedicated yourself to getting justice for these puppies and obviously getting them a good home and
This-
finding who this piece of shit is and making sure that he doesn't get away with it. Because people like that, for all we know, that guy could run a puppy mill. You know, like, oh.
Yeah. Looking at the dogs, two of them look practically identical. This could be a breeder who has just decided, hey, fuck it, I'm gonna kill dogs.
Yeah, like
I'm
decided
very
maybe they...
passionate about this.
Oh, so am I. I'm kind of at a loss for words, and I don't usually use that phrase because I'm usually not at a loss for words, but like, I'm just kind of angry and horrified at what I've heard about happening to these puppies. And the fact that one of them didn't make it makes me even more upset. I'd be, like, upset anyway if they both made it, but, oh, fuck. Gosh, I'm really glad to hear that there are people out there that are this dedicated to fighting for the right thing for, like, innocent creatures, especially in a place like Tampa, Florida. It's definitely needed.
Fucking
It's
Tampa.
really, really needed. Yeah.
This was
Yeah, you and I
almost,
both know.
like, literally in my backyard, almost literally. It's like a mile or so away, but I had to get this out there. I brought up Dave Bautista earlier because, as I said, the $7,500 reward, 5,000 of that is from Dave Bautista himself, who had this to say that this makes me sick to my stomach, and when it happens in my own community, I can't help but take it personally. I'd love to contribute another 5,000 to this reward, and I hope having a B-list star like Dave Bautista can get some attention on this. This is also indicative of like a broader issue with like animal rights and such, that I have seen so many stories, read so many stories, etc., of people just giving up on dogs or cats even. Just one day deciding, I don't want this dog anymore, I'm gonna take it here. Either they take it to a shelter, which is better, or they just straight up kill them on the side of the road, like happened here.
Yeah. Oh, what really upsets me the most about it as well is that there's so many ways you can so much easier, like, if you can't raise the dogs, if you can't raise a cat or any animal, frankly, there's so many ways. It's so easy now with the internet to just find somebody to take them that will give them a good home. Like post a TikTok
God,
or a
yes.
video, and it's just like, oh, look at the cute little baby. Does anybody need a puppy? Yada yada. Here's the story behind it. I can't take care of it. You will have droves of people who will absolutely provide a good family, and you can vet them quite easily. It's not that hard to vet whether or not someone's capable of raising a dog. You can kind of, it's not too hard to tell. I like whether or not someone's a good or bad dog owner. I've met good and bad dog owners, and when I meet bad dog owners, it fucking pisses me off. Oh, is it okay if I tell my own story here about something I saw that made me want to like?
Everyone has a story to do with this. I know.
I almost got arrested. I almost got arrested because of something I almost did, dog. Okay. I was walking around Seattle. Me and my mom wanted to go to a vape store to pick up some weed, and Seattle proper, like in the city, like a couple blocks away from the Space Needle, has this one fucking dispensary that goes hard as hell, has insanely good deals. Like, it's really good. It's really good. So we went there. We parked a couple blocks away because there's no fucking parking in Seattle, especially not that close to the Space Needle. So we walked. And we go, and it's cold as hell. Like, I am freezing. I had a fever, to be fair, so any cold made me feel awful, but it was cold. It was, like, near 32. And me and my mom decided to stop at a restaurant where you could get, like, burgers and fries, just pick up some food, and then we would get our weed, and then we would go home. And we went into the store, or into the restaurant, ordered our food, and left. And as we left, these two guys came in. I don't know if they were a couple or if they were just buddies, but they had a relatively large dog on a leash, and they tied the leash up to a bike, like, you know those rack areas, like where you tie up your bike or you like lock up your bike so people don't steal it, like those little like bars alongside a building. Basically tied the dog's leash up to that, and left the dog right outside the door. I don't know if they allowed dogs inside or not, but then they proceeded to not just order and then like get their food to go. They sat inside for their order and ate inside. And I know this because we went and got our weed, and then we came back to get our food, and the dog was still sitting out there cold. The dog was so friendly, like immediately licked my hand as I walked past, and I gave it a nice little pet. And the owners had their backs turned to the fucking window. They weren't even looking at the dog. The dog was sitting out there in near 32-degree weather. I don't know if that's like, it was a fluffy dog. And dogs can typically handle even the snow for quite some time. It's like freezing rain is what really gets animals. But like,
where was this?
It just,
I'm sorry.
Like 3 or 4 blocks from the Space Needle, like next door to the dispensary, right outside of a restaurant. And like,
oh yeah, I hear Seattle winters get awful.
Yeah, it was like, it wasn't wet out, which is why I think the dog's probably fine. But it indicates to me like, I could just never imagine tying my pet up outside and then going into a restaurant and just like eating and then coming out from like, that's not a thing. Like, that's not a thing I do with my pets sit next to me while they eat. My dog like goes into the restaurant, and if the restaurant doesn't allow dogs, I go to a fucking different restaurant because the dog's gonna get to sit outside with me if that's what we have to do, and I'm gonna get to give some of the leftovers to the dog right then and there. That's just how I raise dogs. I can't imagine anyone else doing it any other way.
Besides this, or to do with that, Tampa, the areas of it I've lived in are generally pretty dog friendly. Like where I grew up, quote unquote, dogs everywhere. When I went to eat, dogs everywhere. People love dogs here, yet we still have things like this happening.
Yeah. It's really upsetting. I mean, there's always going to be just awful, awful people out there. And I always say this because it has a large part to do with conservatism. But there's a lot of untreated mental illness out there. And Florida, I feel like, is a large hive of that shit. I feel like the closer you get to the villages, the more the more evil the average Floridian gets. And you're just going to see more and more trashiness like that coming from like it's just such a Florida thing. Fuck, it's not like it doesn't happen elsewhere, but it's a level of like pure narcissism and disregard for like innocent life you have to do what that guy did. And I really hope, make sure to keep me updated. Like if he gets found and like there's I bet there will be like mainstream news coverage of this story, especially if the guy gets found and like arrested and charged and everything.
I'm here. I want this to be mainstream news.
This
is the closest thing I have to an outlet for that. I hope you don't mind me using you for this.
No, absolutely. Like, if anybody who is watching this thinks they know something, hey, there's a big goddamn reward out there, and $5,000 that's coming from a fucking celebrity, okay? Draft. So, like, you've got a fucking Marvel actor who is gonna come out and be like, All right. Good fucking job. You found his ass. So if you think you know who it is, if you know someone whose dog had like 2 little puppies recently, and those
Wait.
2 little puppies like disappeared, look into that shit.
Yeah, there's a photo of them in the stream suggestions. Uh, um, can I send you the link and you post it in site chat?
I think you can post it, right? I think you're able to post links.
I can, yes.
Yeah, just go ahead and
Let's
post it
see.
yourself. Yeah, I do it, but
Do.
it's actually really hard to tab out of a game that's full screened without like
Oh
bugging
yeah,
out the
same
stream.
here. I'm doing something in the meantime.
Yeah,
Let's see.
it's it fucks up the stream capture.
And also, here's the thing for the Humane Society, in case anyone wants to donate. These people do good work. I haven't worked with them personally, but from what I hear, they do good work. As you said, you got your dogs from the Humane Society. Different one, but
I feel so awful after hearing about that, but please let there be. If there ends up being any like satisfying conclusion to all this, I really want to get the update. I really appreciate.
hope to, yeah,
Sorry.
whatever. I hope to whatever there is up in the sky that some kind of justice comes by. Because, as I said, this isn't just a one-off thing. This is indicative of a larger issue of just pet neglect. And I hate that. I have 3 dogs that live with me. 3 dogs were found on the side of the road. That I could have been my dogs, feasibly. Not literally, but feasibly 3 dogs. You know what I mean.
Yeah,
It,
I get the same. I get the same thought process whenever I hear about like, just like the idea of dogs that get put down in certain kill shelters, and it's like my dogs could have gone to like a shelter and gotten like put down had we not gotten them. There's always going
Yeah.
to be issues when it comes to like capacity, and it's always going to lead to some pets getting put down if they can't be found a place. And so like I always think about that, like all my dogs are rescues, and I just sometimes can't avoid the thought of like how many other dogs just as amazing as mine are just suffering and maybe even like on the verge of a death sentence that I could save by adopting them. And I'm like, should I just like turn my YouTube channel into like an animal sanctuary channel? I'm like, it's a lot of money. I don't think I can afford that. Maybe one day though.
yeah.
It's definitely the kind of thing I would want to do. I really love Urban Rescue Ranch's content. I imagine you're a fan?
You've mentioned. I have seen a couple of the videos. Not a huge fan, but nothing wrong with him. Uh,
He's definitely
This is
got
just
some like weird
yeah.
kind of like conservative religious kind of vibes that he gives off a little bit.
Oh, that's a
Um,
lot of people.
Yeah, and I don't think it's like too intrusive, but I pick up on it, and it's like, as long as you don't start calling shit woke, okay? Like,
Oh
I'll
yeah,
be fine.
the woke mob is coming to arrest me for killing a puppy.
No, I was talking about